getting that right at this stage.
Thank you, Councillor Foley. We'll note that. We'll note that.
Nicely.
Okay, animal management and environmental health fees and charges. Mr. Scott Davenport. Good afternoon, Scott.
Afternoon. So firstly, just like to take my report as read. I'll just do a very brief summary to explain what is hopefully quite a simple process. So every year we just need to set our dog control fees and our animal or health fees prior to the setting of the LTP, and this is basically because we need to get our registration packs out prior to the LTP being adopted. So pretty much we need an early decision to ensure that we can get those to the printing press, and so that everybody has those, is aware of the fees and get the registrations done in time prior to 1 July. The LTP, as part of it with the draft LTP, we didn't have any submissions on the fees and charges. We hadn't proposed to make many changes to the fees and charges. There's only three pretty minor changes, one to the hours of operation at the pounds and how we charge for impounding fees, a $25 transfer fee for an auxiliary registration, and also just when someone surrenders a food control plan, an additional fee there, because that's really the way we're going forward with the food control plan. So it's basically as a bit of a disincentive to ensure that someone on one of those plans doesn't step off that regime. Any questions?
Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you, Scott. I just had one. When it comes to certificates of registrations, if you have sort of beauty therapist businesses or whatnot move to residential areas, are they captured the same?
Yeah, they are. Yep, same regime.
Great, thank you.
Jim. Scott, on page 5 bar 4, impounding dog fees, second line down, it says dog, second or more impounding of the same dog in any 12 months, $140. The draft plan that we did prior to this states dog, second or more impounding in any 12 months may also be issued an infringement fee of $300. That's been removed. Was that a reason for that?
Yeah, so part of the review of this item we discovered that you can't actually do that. So you can infringe, but you can't specify it in the way that it's worded, so we've removed the wording to make that clear.
So there's no longer that $300 liability?
You can still infringe at any stage, but the way it was worded made it look like it was part of the actual impounding fee. So you need to separate the two. So we've always had the opportunity to do that. We've just removed it to ensure we don't have any legal liability there.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions of Scott? No? Just straightforward. This is just a recommended resolution there. Could I ask for a mover? Thank you, Councillor Christowski. Seconded by Councillor Stewart. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Item number 6, tender contract for the road signs maintenance 2015. Mr. Dennis Lewis. Afternoon, Dennis.
Afternoon, Your Worship. We have a report for the acceptance of the road signs maintenance tender. I'll take the report as read and take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Mr. Lewis? Yes. Councillor Christowski.
I have a couple of questions, please. 6 bar 1, do we know the reasons why the current tenderer is not retendering?
Yes, we do.
You will tell me at one stage. And the second question is that the tender prices are quite significant in differences. Is there, again, any reason why?
Not 100% sure, other than just the desire to have the contract.
Are you saying that that particular contractor is trying to buy the business?
I was more suggesting at the other end of the scale rather than the sharp end of it.
Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Lewis? No, suggested resolution there. If I could have a mover for that, please. Councillor Williamson, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Lippling. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Item number 7. Contract for Rifle Range Road water main renewal.
Sorry, Your Worship, just before we leave that item, the engineer's estimate was $550 some. Does that mean that was allocated in the budget and there'll be a saving with that
That's right. It represents a saving of about 30k a year. I think in total it's about 100k saving over the 3 years of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 7, Rifle Range Road. This is the one we've been having problems with over the years.
Over the last couple of years we've had a few breaks here. This is for the renewal of the water main from just up here past the office right through to Tamamutu Street. We've got a new contractor there, GT Civil. We've done some fairly extensive background research on that contractor to make sure that he's a suitable contractor, and we're quite satisfied with the responses we've had from the various clients that he's worked for.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Councillor Park?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lewis. I'm going to ask one of my usual questions of you. With the GT Civil Limited being Cambridge-based and the others being the Taupo branches of bigger companies, the second local Taupo businesses, the one that would have been the next closest to GT Civil, was there a lot of difference for the contract to be awarded to an out-of-town business as opposed to locals?
Sorry, I don't have that number in my head. I could certainly find out from you, but I just can't recall what the second one was, the difference between first and second.
You know what the highest one was anyway.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think, you know, the tendering process is a difficult one. We've got some good standard regulations around that, so in answer to the question, you know, I don't think it's fair if Mr. Lewis can answer it really, because the tenderer has won through on price attributes as well as performance attributes, so
Through the chair, I completely understand that, but I just hope that if it wasn't a hugely significant, that our local residents and ratepayers who contend for these contracts as well, that's just taken into consideration. We've got to look after our own, that's all I'm saying.
Certainly the tender process for this particular tender was one where we evaluated the attributes of the tenderers first and then their score second, and that tends to lock you into an outcome once you've ascertained what the attributes are.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Jollins. Sorry, John.
Through the chair, Mr. Lewis, just for clarification, this was originally unbudgeted expenditure that we approved back in November. So which financial year will this expenditure fall in?
It will fall in this financial year. Yes.
Okay. And just, it's been nearly 7 months since we approved this. Can you explain why it's taken us that long to get to this point, please?
Certainly can, partially because of the Christmas New Year break, and partially what we did with this contract is once we received approval from Council for the unbudgeted expenditure, we then engaged the consultant to undertake the design of the works, and that's taken a period of time, and then there's the tendering of the contract itself, so that's largely what's taken the time.
Thank you.
Councillor Boddy.
Well, that was basically part of my question, because as it's unbudgeted, we wouldn't now consider borrowing, as that is an ongoing infrastructure capital expenditure, because we've already allocated it as unbudgeted. I think it's a question I raised with Mr. Manhattan some time ago. Anyway.
It's built into our forecast for this financial year.
Thank you.
Part of that, those unbudgeted expense items that have been approved during the year.
Okay. All right, so just a resolution there. We get this job fixed up and underway. Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Jollins. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 8, Lake Terrace.
This is in relation to the water main from the council building here down to Mary Road. This is the one that we had a number of breaks around Anzac weekend. We had, because of the nature of those breaks and the commercial properties that have been serviced, we've entered into an arrangement with our Three Waters maintenance contract, Fulton Hogan, to get cracking on that, and they started that you would have seen them on the ground here on Monday, but essentially they started last week. And this report is seeking retrospective approval for an unbudgeted expenditure of $300,000 to complete that water main. I would just add, in relation to the questions that Councillor Jolin's asked about how long it took for Rifle Range Road, what we did with this one was, rather than get it specifically designed, we've been working with the contractor on site to sort out the most effective and cost-efficient way of renewing the water main. So we've short-circuited a lot of that design and planning phase that we did with Rifle Range Road.
And through the chair, this was budgeted for next year, and we just brought it forward.
So Mr. Chairman, just for clarification of that, it's unbudgeted at the moment, so we're paying it retrospective. That's the decision, but it would be part of the capital budget for next year?
Yes, it's in the 15-16 plan, but because of the emergency nature of it, we brought the work forward.
So would that be from funds on hand, or would it be borrowed?
It would be probably out of the renewals budget.
Probably or will be.
I'm not 100% sure where it was budgeted.
It was, but for the 15-16 year, we had 3 water mains down for renewal: Rifle Range Road, Lake Terrace and Tamamutu.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair, just one last question for Mr. Lewis. It notes in the paper that it was the pipes are in poor condition due to material and age, but potentially they've been disturbed. Who did the disturbing, and is there an insurance issue there? Sorry, I'm just having to ask.
The disturbance is around the fibre optic that was laid there. You've got a very narrow corridor of about 3.5 metres, and no, there is no insurance liability because there was no direct striking. It's more one of where the surrounding material is disturbed. The AC pipe, the walls are of unsound nature, so that any disturbance adjoining that can lead to weak points, and that's what's probably happened here, but there's no liability as opposed to drilling straight through it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Okay. Could I have a mover, please, for the suggested resolution, Councillor McLean? Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Assignment of lease, Riverside Market. Licence to occupy. Afternoon, Ella.
Afternoon. This would normally be considered by the Reserves Committee, but we only just received notice that the Riverside Market had been sold and they need an answer pretty shortly to get that sale through. So you will have read in the report that there's a proposal to assign it to the new purchasers. Under the licence, we must assign the Riverside licence if they meet that criteria. It's a fairly subjective criteria. They have to be respectful, responsible and of financial resources. And you would have read in the report that it's suggested that the new purchasers can meet that criteria. So you've got the recommended resolution in front of you to agree to consent to the assignment, which will take place next week on the 1st of June. The other thing that I just wanted to mention, and to keep Council in the loop, we've temporarily allowed the Riverside Market to operate from that corner location next to the Arts Centre, and that's just to allow the normal area to regenerate because it's fairly worn down there. So they'll be operating from that corner site over the winter. To keep you in the loop.
Okay, thanks, Ellen. Okay, fairly simple process by the look of it.
I'd move.
Move Councillor Boddy, seconded by Councillor Harvey. Just a question from Councillor Christowski.
Seeing there's going to be a new ownership and we are obliged to more or less approve if they meet all the criteria, is it not also an opportune time to revisit, if necessary, the terms and conditions of the lease?
No, it's not. It's a right of assignment, so you're taking the existing terms and conditions. The opportune time to do that would be for a variation process, which is then negotiation. But this is the new purchaser. If they meet that criteria, they have the right to those terms.
Okay, thank you.
So that opportunity will come down the down the track
The
sometime.
next opportunity will be when the existing licence expires, which is end of 2019. But we've just gone through a variation process with them, so we've limited their operating days to exclude some major event weekends. But we still have the ability to displace them up to 4 times a year if an event needs that area.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Just one final question.
Dollins?
Sorry. Part of the criteria is that council is satisfied that they meet certain conditions. I note in the paper that it is the seller that says that they believe that the new purchaser meets the conditions. Are you, council, satisfied that they meet the criteria? Because it doesn't actually state that in the paper.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just a pedantic.
I am. It's a hard one. It's subjective. You have to take people's word of their experience. I haven't done any full investigatory work, but I am satisfied that they meet that criteria.
Yeah, I think just their previous business of Fine Fettle, they're the owners of for approximately 15 years.
That's right.
They traded there, so I'm sure they'll be fine. Okay, Councillor Hickling and seconded by Councillor Harvey. All those in favour?
David,
Sorry.
it's
Sorry,
already
John.
been done.
Sorry, John.
You're on
Councillor Boddy.
Rosie.
Councillor Boddy, seconded by Councillor Harvey. Andy, you all right? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 10, licence to occupy